Good evening, and thank you everybody for coming to the Board of Education meeting. I thank all those who came out in the cold and the windy day. Thank you very much. You all stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Scarito. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight and those listening and watching on YouTube. Yesterday, of course, we were off in the district for Veterans Day. Just want to, on behalf of the board and cabinet, really the entire district, just recognize and thank those who serve or who have served, our veterans. We remain just so grateful and thankful for your bravery and commitment to ensuring our freedom. So
We also thank those who serve.
absolutely, those who have served or continue to serve. And we're lucky enough to say that, you know, in our community, we name quite a number of neighbors who fit that description. Congratulations to the Hauppauge Smithtown Girls Varsity Swim Team. As you may have heard, on Sunday, November 10th, they captured their 4th consecutive Suffolk County championship. Just incredible, 4 in a row. Some top performers there were Mary Schroeder, Rowan Ashby, Mackenzie Clark, Avery Wilcox, and Haley Wilcox. Avery was part of the 200 freestyle relay that set a new county record, leading the way to the championship. This team is juggernaut. They're incredible. The New York State top-ranked team will now compete in the state championship. That's in Rochester, New York, on November 22nd and 23rd. So good luck, girls. Thanks for representing. Next, an upcoming event, the Holidays and Heroes Festival. That'll be held, this is the second year we're doing this, on Saturday, December 14th from 1:30 to approximately 3:30. That's at the high school in the Commons. Our friends in the Hauppauge Fire Department will begin its annual neighborhood parade of lights from the high school circle at 3:30 p.m. So we got the Holiday and Heroes Festival leading right into the fire department at 3:30. The mission is $5 per child and includes a photo with Santa. And there's concessions, there's arts and crafts, some special performances and games will be available to all in attendance. All proceeds go to the Hauppauge High School charity organization, Share and Care. So we're looking forward to that. And then just lastly, our next Board of Ed meeting is not until after, well, in December. So just a happy, in advance, a happy Thanksgiving to all of Hauppauge colleagues, neighbors, and community members. Hope that everybody has a blessed Thanksgiving with your families and your friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Moving on to 5C on the agenda, adoption of minutes, business meeting of the Board of Education, October 15th of 2024. We got a motion, Crafa, a second, Michael. Any discussion? All those in favor? 4-0. Going on to number 6. Any questions and comments for tonight's agenda only from the light public? Move on to the consent agenda. Number 7.1 through
7.3.
7.4.
Excuse me, 7.3. Yes.
Can I get a motion on that? Collins, second, Michael, any discussion? All those in favor? Number 8, policies. Cassie, do you touch on that, please?
I don't think there's any policies on here. I think we have a regulation that's going to be there for, it's a regulation that aligns to our attendance, school attendance policy, and that regulation highlights and outlines our procedures and our process for all our attendance procedures.
Is it still the 18 days? Is it still the...
Yes, for the semester, yes.
Okay, Getting a motion on that, Pratt? Second, Collins. Any discussion? All those in favor? Committee reports, we will move forward to the next meeting so we can get all the committee reports in there, please. Any discussion matters from the board? Any new business? Number 12, guys, questions and comments from the community? Anything at all? Yes, sir.
I wanted to talk about the New York State regionalization plan. I know all of you received my email about this. I think it's really important that we come out strong against it, especially since we're doing this bond update. I mean, what's the point of spending all this money if we're gonna have to share it with other districts? So that's a huge thing that other communities are not like dealing with right now. It's a lot of money at stake. And then also just the details of this, and if we have a say-so in this. They said it's mandatory. I know it's through BOCES. I know we're under contract with BOCES. I don't know if we can get out of contract with them, and that's how we can get around it. But it's really serious. I mean, it's redistribution of resources, which is socialism, which I was up here a couple years ago talking about. They want to do community schools. So the state is broke. They spend all their money on all these illegals, all this woke BS, and now we have to pay for it through this plan because they say it's about funding, but instead of fixing the funding issue, they're doling it out for the taxpayers' burden. So I think we need to like team up with other districts like Massapequa, Locust Valley, like legal avenues, not just letters, but a letter would be good too. Thank you for signing on with the coalition, but I think with the district too, would show a lot of like, you know, if the district is against this, would show a lot of support, especially to the community if you could team up.
No, we appreciate that. Dr. Murphy, you said you have some meetings coming up. It is definitely something that we're on top of. Unfortunately, when it does involve the state, as you know, it's harder for us because they control money. They control person.
Yes, and you can see how that's a problem, especially for us. Especially if we have to share sports teams. I mean, Smithtown superintendent came out and downplayed it and was like, oh, it's similar to our partnership with the swim team. Our partnership with the swim team is amazing. This is not amazing. They'll take people and water down all of our teams and our classrooms. So it's just outrageous and it needs to stop flying under the radar. People really need to like pay attention to this. I mean, other districts have websites with information on this. I don't know if that's something that we can do.
Yeah, so we're talking, first of all, appreciate you always juggling when you're at the mic.
My husband's coming.
We're talking, yes, we're talking about this quite a bit every day. Tomorrow, I'm in a meeting where I'm going to learn more. I'm in touch with one of the founders of the coalition that you referenced. Had a great conversation with her on Friday, so more to come from us, okay?
Yeah,
But I would really appreciate you could look into like the website on the district or something. Not even just for this, for like something else in the future too that can come up to be easier to get information out to the community.
Yes, we will look into that.
I try to keep that silence in our own community, which is not cool, because I do the research, as you all know, and I try to make everyone aware. So this, I try not to sound the alarms unless it's, you know, something serious. This is definitely serious.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not really familiar with it. I mean, I downloaded it, but I didn't have a chance to take a look at it. Can someone maybe explain a little bit about what it is that New York State is asking us to do?
Yes, so districts have been asked to complete a strengths and needs tool. It's basically a survey that is a whole lot of data. It's a very long survey. Assessment data, program data. It's not. It was originally due in early November. Now it's not due until December. All of that was a first step to conversations that would be led by each individual BOCES that would eventually create what's called a regionalization plan. I'm going to speak in generalities here because there's a lot of questions that I still have, so I'm going to share with you my knowledge and my understanding. So if you look at the guidance documents, they talk about that there'll eventually be 37 plans, right? So with superintendents like myself helping to participate in conversations for our individual plan. So for us, that would be Eastern Suffolk BOCES. What the dream is of that is somewhat vague. I was joined by some board members, Ms. Collins, Mr. Michaels, Mr. Barchet, on a recent webinar hosted by Nassau Suffolk School Boards that had representatives from the state speaking about this. It was moderated by Bob Vecchio, who's a school board president of Nassau School Boards Association. And there were over 400 of us on that webinar. Like it was, got a lot of attention. I can tell you that they spelled out the exact vision for this. The concern, of course, is losing local control, which we all believe wholeheartedly in, right? In Hauppauge and in other districts that have similar thinking. So right now, I think the state is playing, and even BOCES, some catch up in trying to clarify and qualify what this all means, and that's why there's a lot of conversations going on every day to get some better answers about what it is that they're trying to achieve. In the meantime, we are trying to understand what it is that we must do versus what we can opt out of. So on that webinar, they spoke of a district's ability to not participate in the regionalization plan. That would be down the road. So what we don't know at the moment is the steps along the way. Which of those steps are we required to engage in? Which are we not? So this is kind of priority 1 to 10 for me right now, for others to figure out all the ramifications, to continue to update the board. The board is, as you see and have heard, they're vested. We had 7 for 7 Hauppauge board members sign the coalition letter. So we will update the district. I like, I think Tara's idea there of space on the website can make some sense, but we will continue to update, the board, of course, but the community as the conversation continues. There's a lot of questions still. There's a lot of resource documents, but what's lacking, I think, is some crystal clear examples of what the dream, if the dream is achieved, what exactly happens. And so that's what I think is leading to plenty of justifiable questions from local boards of ed and superintendents and districts.
So I've read a lot about this, or been trying to anyway, but I don't really understand the ultimate goal. In the end, does it have
I don't
37
think they know.
districts?
Yeah, so they talk about, in general terms, about sharing resources or collaborative efforts. And what I will say to you with kind of with pride is we already engage in best practice sharing with, if we learn of a program in another district that we think would be best for Hauppauge students, we reach out. We have, a lot of people up here with me. We reach out to our counterparts in other districts, and we engage in those conversations, and we're equally supportive. Again, with pride, we have a lot of districts who reach out and say, hey, can we come check out this program or that program? So I think what led to a little bit of questioning on that particular webinar was they repeated things like sharing ideas and sharing practices. And so if the whole goal is to kind of facilitate that, well, we're doing that organically already. So then it leads to, okay, well, that can't be the whole vision, right? So I think what understandably catches the ear of a board member who is giving up their time to be a steward of the district, is about local control and about, well, what does sharing resources really mean, right? Because you pay taxes in this district to fund these schools. So that's where there needs to be a much better job of articulating what they have in mind with phrases such as that. And so I suspect, because this has kind of mobilized the entire education engine on Long Island in particular, that in the coming days, there's going to be many more conversations. I'm in touch with my counterparts in a lot of districts. I have a meeting tomorrow with many of them. And so my hope and goal is that we have clarity in the coming days and weeks. I was just sharing, Regent Tillis is talking about this now. It's, this was a conversation that started just amongst a small group and has now exploded. So I think there's a lot more to come, and we will continue to keep the community up to date.
I mean,
Sure.
so like I said, she read it, I didn't read it. I have an artificial intelligence system for my job. So I was able to upload it through the system and ask it to quickly summarize it for me, and then I'm able to follow up with questions. So I asked some questions about community using our taxpayer dollars to fund other districts. Of course, as you just said, it's very ambiguous. It doesn't specifically say, but it does mention address physical, spelled like physical like finance, concerns before potential cost savings. Sounds like that may be the direction you're going in as far as spreading the wealth.
Yeah.
I just get concerned with what's going to happen with you guys, the board and our team, and now is that going to affect teachers' jobs, is that going to affect your job, is that going to affect what they were not before, is it going to affect special education classes?
So I think you're doing a great job of articulating questions that are out there for everybody. What's that?
We've been working on this all day.
Well, just perhaps this will make you feel better. We're on the same page. There's lots of questions, and we're going to get the answers. And what I will say is, since I've been in the district, our board's never been shy about even being alone if we had to, with our focus and our efforts to do what's best for Hauppauge and our kids. I feel absolutely the same way with 2 new board members. There's just a great sense of team here. So I think you should feel good knowing that the questions you recited, plus many more, need to be answered, and we'll make sure that we get those answers.
Dr. Murphy, is there any reason we can't put right away on the website our great community members who they can write to, who they can email, make them feel part of this?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Getting the way.
Yeah, that's easy enough. Dr. Smalley, you take the lead on that, please.
Thank
you. Okay.
Any other questions?
I think we have no answers, so there's really no questions to ask at this point.
You know what, I think if you stop asking, you're going to get the answers you don't want.
This is true.
So I think you're going to have to sweep through those oils, and if you don't, you're going to get something you don't want. Going backwards is a lot harder than going forwards.
Do you think this all boils down to finances, though? I mean, it
I think
seems
it's
like
more
this
than that.
all boils down to whether we get money or not.
Well,
Yes, I don't know what it is, but I think it's more than that.
that is a huge interconnected piece here.
Right.
Yes.
And that's
I
why
believe,
it's so
yes.
ambiguous, they don't want us to know, really. It
That,
seems
that's
like
exactly what it is. That's what makes it so scary. It's
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
This is her MO, and I can't wait for 2 years from now. And I'll decide if I'm gonna move out of New York or not.
Same here.
Election in 2 years. Well, I can wait. I don't want the midterms to come so fast. Sorry.
Thank you for staying. You know, you can always reach out to me outside of these meetings as well, but we'll continue to update.
I want you to be vocal, though. I would never want, I think the more you say, the better.
Well, I'm just curious, like, it seems like they did not tell anyone,
They did.
right?
I
And then all of a
we're
sudden
aware.
you had this needs assessment to get a turn it back?
Well, I think what happened was they shared different things at first that were not crystal clear as to, you know, what the end game was.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
This has been going on since 2019. The Blue Ribbon Commission that I've been screaming about is responsible for this. So I understand that now they had a webinar, so now we know about this, but this has been in the works since 2019. They've been studying this, planning this, the graduation measures that we spoke about, and getting rid of the regions. This is all part of the plan. Step 2 of the plan is the graduation measures. So this has been going on for years. So like, we need to like take a, fast forward approach on this. Because they're just gonna do this in January, they're gonna pass it, and then what? We have no say so, just like
Well, you
Mass.
never give up fighting, you can't give
I'm
up.
not saying giving up fight, I just said to fast forward. I mean, our
Yeah.
elected officials, Mario Matara, Fitzpatrick, they've already sent out letters demanding that they rescind this plan. So we need to
Yeah,
fast forward.
there's good
So wait a minute,
momentum.
is she saying that's true? Once they're pushing this through come January, and we're gonna have to.
That's when they will adopt it permanently at the January meeting.
Yeah, there's still a lot that's unclear about where this is going, but
But it will be adopted.
there's so much conversation at the moment about this that it's gonna become, I think, crystal clear
So
soon.
America, you still have your voice, don't give up your voice.
So
Yeah.
when do you have to have your,
December.
needs
December
survey?
1st.
That's in December, I believe it's December 6th.
So tell them that we're very poor and we have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
Got it.
We're completely spent.
So we don't know if we can opt out of even doing that, of even giving them our information, because if they don't have our information, they can't do anything with it. When you talk to these other districts tomorrow, can you say,
Yep.
can you discuss that? Can that be something that you say, can we opt out of anything and everything and just completely don't comply? Because if enough districts don't comply, that's it, it's done.
Well, you wonder if the districts should all band together,
They have.
hire attorneys and do just that one particular thing. Look into the legal aspect of what if we don't submit the information, the data, they can't have anything, well, we would hope they would have nothing to go by.
I assume
to
in
implement this.
Jericho district, in Syosset, and any of these other very prominent school districts hear of this plan or know of this plan, the parents hear about this, they are gonna raise hell. Because they are like the #1 school in New York State, and I doubt very seriously they wanna give up any of their.
Well, I think that's part of the problem, is that there's not enough information, right? With
heard
this,
about this.
with Prop 1 passing, right? Prop 1 passed the other day because it was worded very,
Somebody else today, they had no idea, in another district, they had absolutely no idea.
No.
Yeah, you're starting to see
That's a problem.
news stories about it.
Yeah.
It's starting to build. But we'll get that page on the website. We'll continue to share resources there, and we'll continue this conversation. It's a huge priority for us.
If they get the word out, our community's great at that, so get the word out and express your opinion.
The things that
Yeah,
you're,
thank you.
Yeah, Brian.
the things that you're concerned about, or if you watch the webinar, they're using language, I quoted here, equitable access, and they're not talking about your students, they're talking about students across the entire region. So they're saying that everyone's entitled to share those resources, not just the resources of your town. I quoted, they create equitable educational opportunities for all students. They kept repeating that. So it seems they're pushing down to erase those local boundaries or areas that have more money and areas that don't, and sharing across a region. And you watch the webinar yourself, but the things that you're concerned about are very much, they're telling you what they're going to do. They're being ambiguous, but they're not limiting their power of the district superintendent, and that's the concern.
Yeah.
And they're not telling us. I don't think we should move forward until the state tells us what the limitations are going to be on the district superintendent. If they give unlimited power, it's going to be a
And we're
problem.
not talking about our superintendent.
no, we're talking about the BOCES
BOCES.
superintendent, yeah.
37.
It's frightening.
BOCES, is that what?
Yeah.
So there's 37 in the state of New
And
York.
how many districts do we have in New York now? Like
700.
700.
700 and about 37.
And so all these kids who have special needs and IEPs and they're gonna lose that stuff because
they're gonna be
Well,
brought down to the
Yeah, well, that's what they're not defining. Like, there's examples of BOCES serving a shared purpose already, right? We have students who go to BOCES, let's say for HVAC science, and it's fantastic because we don't have an HVAC lab, right? So students from different districts go to BOCES, that or animal science or nursing or automotive, right? So this is why they have to get more clear about what exactly, is it expanding those opportunities through BOCES, or is it something far different, which is, I think, why we all have our antennas up, because they're naming this something different than, it's new. So we're gonna get those answers.
It's very soon. But with BOCES, and I'm sorry, I just keep talking to Brock.
That's good for me. You can ask.
So with BOCES now, do we have our own BOCES, or we share the BOCES with others? Like, how does it?
Yeah, we're part of Eastern Suffolk
And I'm sorry,
BOCES.
I'm ignorant, I don't know.
No, it's a good question.
So that is, we're already doing that, right? So like
Yes.
if someone's in CI, if someone's in Fit Down, they can also attend the same BOCES program. So what is over and above that? is what
New
I'm-
York State, so each superintendent of BOCES answers to the
No, I mean,
commission.
like, what else, what further are they looking to do beyond collaborating and sharing of BOCES? And what is it, what they looking to do?
Yeah,
other than
that's what we're looking for clarity
We
on.
don't have district lines, now when my kid go to Jericho, I can just drive my kid to Jericho, is that what we're talking here? Like, you can just pick a school? Like,
I don't
like,
believe
charter
so, but
schools?
I'm not gonna
It's all
speak.
guessing,
yeah.
honestly. We don't know if they're looking for community schools, we don't know if they're looking just to, save and help with ideas and stuff, that's working.
Yeah, like,
We don't know.
the districts all the way out east, they have different challenges than us. Because they're smaller districts, they all don't offer the same menu of options, and I think that they try to help each other, but they may have there could be a value there to them, because they just have a far different experience than we do here in Hauppauge, certainly the districts you mentioned. So this is where we need much, better direction and understanding of what exactly the dream is, the vision, and then we can best decide on our answer and response. So again, this is kind of all consuming at the moment, so rest assured, we will see this through.
So December 6th is only a few weeks away.
Mhm.
So are you going to update the district on what
Yeah,
your decisions are, or?
Yeah, I mean, we have to, have legal counsel involved, and there's a lot of steps here along the way, but yes, it will be clear where we're headed with this. Okay.
Tom, a
Yes.
quick question. Did they give an explanation then why the distribution of state aid hasn't solved this problem? I mean, for years, we get a lot less state aid than the poor districts. And the purpose of that is to take care of these kind of issues that they're saying they're trying to fix now. Has that not worked? I mean,
They're not really, at the moment, tethering this conversation to the financial
if they
connection
need
we're talking
resources, they
about.
need money. They've always, you look at the state aid every year, so.
But they're not even talking about the shared resources, which, to your point, it's fairly obvious that means dollars.
Dollars, yeah.
So,
It's simple.
so far, there's not depth and breadth to that part of that conversation yet.
Right, because the bulk of our money that we get every year comes from our residents
Yes,
and the Hauppauge Industrial Park. We get some state aid, but we don't get what Brentwood gets or some of the other districts,
yes.
Okay, but, I'm not sure why they think that's
Yeah, every
failing.
district has, to your point, different aid rates, so.
Just seems like
Maybe
it's about
that-
power and control to me, nothing else.
Well, maybe that could be part of the pushback, is what is our motivation to participate in something like this, right? We have no motivation right now. We're getting what we need. And if we don't have it, we're finding ways to get it. And there are districts that aren't, we understand that, and New York State has to figure out ways to help that. But our motivation is non-existent here. We have absolutely no
They
motivation
care
to
about
do
our
this.
motivation, I think it's more of an agenda.
But that's the thing I think that we can use as a pushback. We have no motivation for this. Why would we want to participate in this?
The only problem I see is even though we don't get the state aid other districts do, we still rely heavily on what we do get. The margin is so narrow. I mean, if you guys come to the budget meetings, you'll see why, right? So it's tricky. The fear is they would pull whatever we get from them away. And that's no reason to comply. I really think we're aligned with the community. I would hope that's
Yeah.
why we're up here, right? So,
Because I think,
It's a
I think we
tough
all know
spot.
what the ultimate goal is. And the ultimate goal is socialism eventually in New York State. And that's the ultimate goal. And that's why they're doing all of this, slowly creeping in. They want to see what will take it. They did it with COVID, they're gonna do it again. And the scariest part about all of this is the emergency powers that they're doing. They're using the guise of emergency powers. There's absolutely no emergency in any way. For us, maybe there are emergency for other districts. For us, for most districts on Long Island, there's no emergency. In New York State, I would venture to say there's no emergency.
I just went in with guys that, you gotta keep fighting, you gotta keep vocalizing. Board members who really love our community, the fact that you guys speak up, and if you stop, then
It helps to know exactly, I guess it's so big, no one really knows what they're asking, so it's hard to go and fight. I mean, Tara has some ideas, right? But like, it's hard to go and fight something and talk about all over Facebook or wherever else, and you really don't understand what it is.
Yeah, so
Like, it
we'll
sounds
we'll
like,
clarify
oh,
once we
rules
have
would
the.
be nice,
Yep.
and then, what's behind all that?
And even after being on that webinar, it's so vague.
Yeah.
Like I wrote things down, they use phrases, it is so vague. So if somebody asks, well, what about a collective bargaining disaster with sharing teachers? Well, that's something that's a hurdle we'll have to come up with.
Right.
And, and a hurdle we'll have to jump over when we get to it. Why aren't the big 5 districts involved? Well, that's a good question.
Well, they were invited.
They were invited, but so which leads us back to, there's one reason for this, and it has to be stopped in its tracks. To me, it has to be stopped in its tracks at all costs. Just don't.
No, and again, just final thought is, our board has always been focused on local control, and that's what we want to preserve. So that's kind of our marching orders here.
I mean, they do give you an example, by the way, if you go back in and look at it online, there's an example of the school district or region in Connecticut where they tried it. It pretty much failed. So you can take a look at it, it's the Vernon Mary something, I don't know, I can send it to you, but it's a link out, you can download the PDF and read it, and it did sound like it worked out too well.
Yeah, anything you have, please
Yeah.
share.
I mean, this is my summary from my generative AI, so I don't know.
I used, because the website has some PDFs that are like 100 pages long. I also
Yeah.
put it into Google LM Notebook, and very helpful.
any other feedback? Thank you all again very much.
Thank you, yes.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? Rafa? Sure. Tom, second. Discussion, in favor? Our next business meeting, the Board of Education, will be Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving in advance. Thank you.